Let's see here. Kiba says favorite characters in the series: Anna, Remy, Adine. In that order. I can definitely see Anna being your favorite character. She is a good match for you. You're both kind of spunky, for lack of a better word. Okay, so time for some new content. Oh boy, after having a few streams full of retreads, nice to get to some new content. We have never had a second date with Adine before. Let's do it. Surprised that it's taken place here. This is where the second murder took place. This should be the right address. Adine lives here? I'm coming. Oh, it's you. I was expecting someone else. You're a little early. Yeah, sorry. Your force recommended I come meet you before Remy. Yeah, I didn't know how long it would take me to get here. Better early than late, right? Ah! Hey there, little Emily! Remy's has notes about you. And who might that be? This is Emily. Or would it be Emily? Not really sure. Emily. She's one of the kids I work with. Hello, Emily. Say hi, Emily. Hello. I just have to bring her back to the orphanage real quick. Feel free to make yourself at home in the meantime, okay? Sure. You met Emily. Why are you showing me a picture? Is Emily going to be in the gallery? I didn't get an achievement for it for some reason. Let's save, because now I'm curious. No? Don't know what the deal with that icon was then. Certainly didn't give me a little icon update thing when I met Emily at the orphanage during that investigation. So this is where you live, Adine. Small but cozy. I'm back. That was quick. You know, imagine living in this world where everyone is trustworthy enough, or perhaps trusting enough, that you would leave this super important person who you don't know alone in your house while you went out to run an errand. Oh. Aha! Before says it opens a dialogue option with Remy you need for his good ending, like the blood test with Maverick or the spear for Lorem. Gotcha. So perhaps then it was important to come on this date first. That was quick. Being able to fly does have its perks, you know. How small is Emily, then, if you were able to carry her? Or did you two walk back and then... did you two walk there and then you flew back? Wait, you flew her back? Well, I am a delivery flyer. Well, that answers that. She doesn't get scared or anything? Not at all. She's such a brave little girl. So, What exactly is it that you do at the orphanage? I'm a volunteer. I help them out with whatever they need, and sometimes take care of the kids. They only have so many social workers. The ratio is about 1 social worker for every 10 children, so it's good for the kids to spend some time one-on-one with someone they know. I guess you could almost call it babysitting, but for the kids, we basically become foster parents. The older they get, the less likely they are to be adopted. She might be too old to be considered soon. It's a shame, but I can definitely understand it being that way. It is kind of weird adopting an adult. Or adopting anyone old enough to live on their own. I just said I can see why I'm going with that option. What do you mean? No, we are not going with that option. Back up. I am not calling her a brat. Loading! Yeah, I am safe scumming whenever the option I choose is not what I meant. Well, in that case... What to choose? What a shame, or I adopt her if I could? I'll probably just go with what a shame, because I wasn't even thinking about adopting at the moment. This is more along the lines of what I was thinking, and this isn't, apparently. Yeah, I know. I'm worried about what will happen to her if she doesn't find a family. We will still take care of her, of course, but it's not quite the same as having parents. I'd adopt her myself, but I don't think I could care for her properly. Not as a single parent with my packed work schedule. I still volunteer as often as I can, because if I don't, who will? Someone needs to be there for those kids. You're wasting your time. Someone else would probably volunteer even if you didn't. Well, both of those options seem very bad, so that's very nice of you. Thanks, but for me, it's not about being nice. I almost feel obligated to help, you know? Anyway, let's talk about something less depressing. Like what? Let me think. You know, I still owe you that dare. Or maybe you owe it to me? I forget who dare it was, and... Oh, I just remembered that someone died here recently. Yes, let's talk about something more less depressing indeed. Here in your apartment? No, not here, silly. It's close, though. Barely a block from here. Right, the murder of the maintenance guy. I remember that. Wait, it was a murder? I didn't know that. I thought it was an accident or something. That's terrible. Sorry for mentioning it. I had a feeling that she did not know it was a murder. We were kind of keeping Reza's murder spree a secret. Finding the first victim was already bad enough for me, and now I have to hear there was another murder in town. I wish I could get some good news for once. Oh boy. At least it wasn't you who was murdered. Don't be so sensitive. Don't just focus on the bad things. I mean, I don't really feel very good about any of these options. But the middle one at least is the worst one, so definitely not choosing that. Keepus's last one is at least is least offensive. That's true. At least it wasn't you who was murdered. Does sound kind of offensive. Like, I don't know, it just kind of does. So, maybe don't just focus on the bad things. Don't just focus on the bad things. It's no use lamenting something you can't change. Sorry, Erika. I guess I should be more positive. It's just not always easy, you know? Maybe you'll get some good news soon. I hope so. That reminds me, I've got something I wanted to try on you. Try on me? It's nothing too dramatic. I read this magazine the other day and found a few interesting articles. Using her partial hands, I love that little detail. She held up a magazine to show me its cover. A rather bold-looking female was presented on the front, adorned with trinkets like rings and jewels. Various headlines gave me an idea of the content within. It reminded me a lot of the typical gossip magazines back home. Lifestyle, the magazine for modern people? This issue even came with a set of fortune cards. I'm not sure what to expect. Isn't that the whole fun of it? What should we look at first? You decide. Alright, let's see. Here, this article talks about dreams and what they mean. Oh boy, have I had some dreams. And by that I mean my in-game character has had some dreams. Have you had any strange or recurring dreams lately? I've been dreaming of fire. Fire? That's interesting. Apparently, it's a rather common symbol that can mean a variety of things. Another thing to consider is the significance of the symbol to the dreamer. So, what does fire mean to you? Fire can be destructive, but also wild and passionate. It can represent an issue or problem you can no longer ignore, similar to an actual fire breaking out. It also mentions prophetic dreams, but let's hope that yours don't fall into that category. I doubt they do. Phew. What about your dreams? It kind of feels like they're different every night. Most of them are nonsense, but sometimes I dream of people I used to know. What do you make of all this? Even the article concludes that scientists haven't figured out exactly why we dream. It's a big mystery. I have heard a theory where your dreams are like your brain interpreting memories going from your short term to your long term. But I think that is baloney. Because I've had plenty of dreams that have absolutely nothing to do with the day that I just had. Alright, let's move on. Oh, I thought you meant moving on from the magazine. Don't be such a sourpuss. There's some interesting stuff in here. That dream stuff wasn't so bad. See, I told you this was going to be fun. Beaufort says, I like when I dream I'm a werewolf or a valley. See, I hear of all sorts of furries having dreams where they're actually furry. Not me. I mean, I've had rare occasions where I dream of transformation. 9 times out of 10, though, either I'm attempting a transformation and fail, or I'm a faker. Like this one time, I dreamed that I was some sort of feline running on all fours, and while running on 4 legs was fun, I was not actually feline, I was still human. Anyway, what's next? A personality test. Didn't you always want to know what kind of relationship would suit you? Oh boy, this game is really wanting me to throw the magazine in the trash. Is the writer of this sequence trying to say something? Anyway, didn't you always want to know what kind of relationship would suit you? I mean, I suppose in the past, maybe? Not so much anymore. But there is no not so much anymore option, so sure, why not? Let's find out. Okay, first question. In a relationship, what role do you take? I definitely don't prefer to take the reins. My partner should be the leader. Really? I didn't think you'd be that kind of person. Moving on to the next question. Wait, aren't you going to answer the questions too? I was just about to ask that, so I'm glad I asked that. I'll take the test after you. I don't want to keep track of both our scores at once. Alright. Question number 2. What is your favorite dessert? Cereal. No, not really. Cereal's more of a snack. Chocolate cream cake, lemon ice cream with sprinkles, coconut souffle. I've never even had a souffle. Red hot chili cookies. I have never had that either, but that sounds awesome. And what does this question have to do with relationships? No, I'm playing along with this one. This sounds fun. Probably chocolate cream cake. An all-time classic. Who doesn't like chocolate cake? Here's the next question. What is your dream job? Bakery. That is not an option. Stay-at-home parent? I'm not sure that I want to really invoke the powers of relationshiping with Adine right now, so... Granted, these other options... Farmer? Business person? I have had a small, and I mean a small, interest in gardening, but I have not actually taken up gardening yet. Because I don't really like getting dirty. I've been dirty before. I've told this story before, but one time when I was young, I wound up playing in the mud one time, got super dirty, so dirty I left a ring of dirt in the bathtub. That was such an awful experience, I've never liked getting dirty again. Business person? Kiba says you were a pig for a few days. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean... Oh, you mean literally being a pig rolling in the mud. Yeah, I guess you could say that then. Business person? That sounds boring. You know what? Between these three options, stay-at-home parent probably would be the most interesting. But I'm gonna say before chiseling that because I don't want to accidentally set an impressed status. So we'll go with that for the moment. I'm with you on that one, but does that really qualify as a job? Are you questioning the almighty magazine? I forget I said anything. How many more questions are there? That's all of them. Now to look up the results. Oh, it says here that the results are outlined in the weight loss booklet that came with the magazine, but I already threw that away. Apparently dragons also suffer from... Oh, what is the word I want to use? I don't know, something to do with weight. Guess we'll never find out what kind of relationship would suit me. Yeah, obesity. Thank you, Kiba. Issues with obesity and fat shaming. Yeah, how else would you know? There's no other way. I'll be at a loss for the rest of my life. And you're right, Kiba. She's definitely not going to answer the questions. There's no point. We don't get to see the results. But now we get to the best part. The fortune cards. That's what I was looking forward to. Me too. How's that supposed to work anyway? I mean, they're just cards. How can they predict the future? Apparently there are different schools of thought regarding the use of fortune-telling cards. In other words, fortune tellers just make up their own rules. The cards themselves don't know anything, they're just a tool. Oh, I'm not saying that fortune tellers are necessarily fake. I'm sure there's some legit ones out there, but I don't know how they're supposed to figure out the purpose of cards. Anyway, so the information actually comes from somewhere else. But where, though? Well, one interpretation is that it's our subconscious who gives us the answers that we seek. Similar to how dreams can be interpreted, the interpretation of the cards is very dependent on the person itself and the symbols they recognize in the card's images. We recognize images that are relevant to our lives, and that gives us an idea about ourselves and our current problems. However, that is just the most grounded interpretation out there. People usually associate something more paranormal with fortune cards. One of those explanations is that the cards are our way to communicate with a higher being, a paranormal entity that knows more than we do and can give us subtle nudges using the cards. And who would that be? The explanations range from ghosts to angelic beings. One even involved humans. Really? Yeah, people would say you could communicate with humans this way. And then there was also something they called higher self. Higher self? How come you know so much about this? Because I read the article about it? Oh. Okay, what should I draw for you? Why don't I get to be the one who's reading the fortune? Because I paid for this magazine, so the cards are mine. Okay. So, what are my options? I could read your past, present, or future. What is it going to be? How about my past? Reading the past sounds a little strange since you already know it, but it might help you see things in a new light or give you a new perspective. Let me see what this card means. Your past is filled with fire, strife, and conflict. Yet like steel, you adopted it and were tempered by it. What didn't kill you only made you stronger. And as a result, you grew up quickly and became a mature and decisive individual. Oh, that is so not me. I mean, maturity, yes, to an extent. Decisive? I need to flip a coin in order to help myself make decisions sometimes. You know what you would want, and you have the potential to get it. What do you think about that? It's not true. That doesn't really apply to me. Like, at all. Maybe I did it wrong. Who knows? Maybe you should ask your almighty magazine. Oh, did I just choose a rude branch? Okay, good. Don't be silly. I guess that's everything the magazine has to offer. Well, that certainly was interesting. I guess that means you had fun then? Sure, let's call it that. So, do you have anything interesting going on at the moment? I can't imagine what ambassador life is like. It's been busy. I thought this whole thing would go by quickly and without any mishaps, but now it seems like there's always something happening. Oh, really? Yeah, I figured I'd come here, do the exchange, and leave again, but apparently it's not that easy. It never is. You speak like you've had experience as an ambassador. Well, no, but doing deliveries is similar. People order something, I fly to them, we exchange the product for payment, and then I go back. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Yeah, sure. But things always go wrong. For example, imagine you have 2 deliveries to make, and the first one goes smoothly, okay? I'm imagining it very hard right now. Alright, so you get to the destination of the second delivery, and they actually check what you're handing them. It turns out that you mixed up the orders, but you already delivered the first one. That's certainly not a pleasant situation to be in. Now you have to go back to the first family you delivered to, who by now have probably noticed that they got the wrong delivery and exchange what you gave them for what they actually ordered. Right. But it turns out that they didn't mind the mix-up. As a matter of fact, they have already started eating what they got instead. Yeah, I saw that coming. Now, I'll admit, I'm the sort of person to do that. Mind you, I do mind that there was a mix-up, but no, I have the food, might as well eat it. It's not so bad that they aren't angry, but now you can't exchange the orders anymore, so you have to fly back to the restaurant to get the second order remade. Happens all the time. As a result, the people waiting for the second order do get angry because their order has to be remade and delivered all over again. And the plot thickens. They complain, and of course, get their meal comped. The restaurant can no longer sell that first order you still have, so the orders for both families are deducted from your paycheck, and you end up eating nothing but ramen all week again, just so you can make rent this month. Oh, you have ramen. That is unfortunate. And that's why you always double-check your orders, because even a small mistake can have consequences reaching further than you'd think. Sometimes we just have to learn the hard way. I guess so. Anyway, what else have you been up to recently? Do you remember the stunt flying competition I told you about? Of course. I assume your participation is a given by now. Actually, I'm not so sure about that. I mailed the application earlier today, so hopefully it will arrive before the deadline. Or maybe I should just fly it over myself. While showing off a few moves, that is. You should fly over anyway to make sure you get in. It would be a shame if you couldn't enter because of a technicality. Yeah, I really should drop by. By the way, could you do me a favor? That depends on the favor, I suppose. It's kind of a long story, but there's something I need. You know some people at the police station, right? Yes? You're about to ask me about the blueprint, aren't you? I think they're in a possession of a map related to an underground building they found. I've heard about that. Oh, that's great. Maybe you can get them to hand it over? It doesn't even have to be the real thing. A copy would be just fine. What do you even need it for? Let's just say I'm interested in doing a little investigation at the place myself. Is that why you die? What's so special about it? It's supposed to be a remnant of an earlier civilization, or maybe even something created by humans. Who wouldn't be interested in that? Beaver says you can get the blueprint this run, and it'll stay in your inventory for when you're doing Adine's path. I was just thinking about that, actually. Anyway, remnant of earlier civilization, something created by humans. Who wouldn't be interested in that? I'd pay you to visit myself if I could. See? I think if you put your word in, we could easily make it happen. How do I even ask for something like that? You could always say that humanity is interested in it. Honestly, they probably would be. Could you ask them for me, please? Oh, that face. I can't say no to that face. I can try. I won't promise anything, but I can certainly try. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I didn't know you were into archaeology. I wouldn't care as much if it turned out to be just some old building. The whole thing about it being made by humans is what's really interesting. Why's that? Well, the myths wouldn't be very mythical anymore if that was the case. We'd have proof. And that's so shortly after finding out that humans are, in fact, real. Yes! What a time to be alive! So you believe in all that stuff? Belief isn't the right word when you're standing right in front of me, you know. That alone is a miracle. I get excited all over again just thinking about it. Speaking of which, all this excitement made me lose track of the time. Is it that late already? As a matter of fact, yes, I'm definitely not going to be able to hang out with Remy today. Oh, actually, I have places to be, especially if I want to make sure my contest application arrives on time. Guess I should be going then, huh? For now, at least. I certainly wouldn't mind if you stopped by again sometime. I just had a thought. It would be amazing hanging out in this world and seeing an occasional flyer fly by. That would just be really cool. I wonder how many flyers there are around here. You think you just see one, like, once every so often? Or do you think there's, like, a whole bunch of them flying around at once? I bet you there's a bunch of them in the city. Anyway, step by against the time. Will there be any magazines involved? Actually, that magazine doesn't come out that often, so we wouldn't have anything new from them. I could get a different one if you wanted to, though. Don't bother. If you say so. Anyway, I really have to go, so I'll see you around. Okay, let's see. This is the point where I would probably choose to see Remy, but like I said, I don't necessarily have any time. Let's see here. Status. Still good. Did not go up. That's okay. Let me think here. Something. I was thinking of something. First off, it seems to me that Adine does not own the restaurant. She's just a waitress and a courier. There was something I wanted to keep in mind. Something I wanted to make note of. Not something that somebody has mentioned in chat. Something that I thought of. For a future run. Oh wait, never mind. It has something to do with, people's impressions of me. Their status with me. No, it's not important now. I already saw what I wanted to see. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's stream, feel free to give me a follow. I stream this every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Except this Saturday because it's Christmas. I also don't know whether I'll stream next week at all. I would like to, but it depends on whether you all would be too busy during the holidays between Christmas and New Year's to really, hang out and watch. Especially if y'all are getting new video games for Christmas. So, depending on that, I might just skip next week entirely and wait until next year to resume streaming.